How would you like someone to trust you deeply before they even are spending hours with you on social media or YouTube or online? How would you like to be able to communicate that through your look? That is what we're going to be talking about today. So let's get started. First of all, though, hello, my name is Nikki Hendricks, and I am a personal brand stylist. And I teach women how to create brand aligned looks through so that they can be seen, remembered, and hired. So let's get started. Now, your what you are wearing and your look, and let me define look for a second. Your look is from the top of your head to your toes. So you want to think your hairstyle, your makeup, your personal style, what you are wearing. That is what I consider your look. And you have the potential to really build trust with people that are maybe are just found you for the first time or that are getting to know you. You have the potential to really communicate trust through your look. So that is what we are going to go over today. People are looking for people they can trust that so that when they decide to invest in a coach or get help with something, they can trust that their money is being spent well, their time is being spent well, and they the person that they are hiring can really solve their problem. And we can do a ton of communicating through our words and through our actions, but really, your look is also a part in creating that trust. Now, I'm sure you understand that trust is important for people to buy, but according to research from the Edelman Trust Barometer, 81% of customers around the world say that they will either buy from a brand or not, depending on if they trust that brand. So obviously, trust is super important to have people buy from you, right? That happens when your look is brand aligned because it is creating consistency. Now, let's talk about consistency for a second because I think that's one of those things too, is that consistency creates trust. I want you to think about if you have to have knee surgery and you have like three appointments, pre-appointments before then. And um, so let's say the first appointment, he says, yep, we're going to do this well. You're going to have a 2-week recovery. We're going to go in there, snip this part, and you won't need any anesthesia or something like that. Like you won't go to sleep, you'll just get some anesthesia. And you're like, okay, sounds great. And then you go into another appointment, same doctor. And this time though, he's like, "Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna need to put you under. It's probably gonna be like a 6-week recovery." So basically everything that he said at that first appointment is different at the second appointment. And you're like, "Okay, did something change with what you thought?" And he's like, "No, no, this is normal." You're like, "Okay." Well, then you go in for a third appointment, and he's like, yeah, you're gonna need to stay the night. I'm thinking that we'll probably just poke the area, hope the blood goes there, and we should get you uh, probably no anesthesia at all. Like, so basically, each time that you went in, he's saying something different. There is inconsistency. Um, I'm sure right now you're like, yeah, I would go get a second opinion and go get a second surgeon to look for because he does not know what's going on. Like there is so much inconsistency. And so that creates distrust, right? Whereas if you went to him every single time and every time he said very like the same thing or similar things about what to expect, you'd be like, okay, like he's got it, like this must be routine for him. That creates a lot of trust, right? And so consistency is so important in business for getting those best clients. And, we talk about, or there's talk about a lot of times about staying true to your brand, right? Brand is very important. And what I see a lot of times is that, yes, you need to incorporate your logo, and your logo needs to be consistent with your brand values. But I don't see what talked about a lot is about your look. And by your look, I'm meaning from your head to your toes, your hair, your face, your makeup, your what you're wearing, about that really aligning with your brand, with your values, with your personality. And so when you have this really nailed down, you are able to create trust as you entered the room, as you enter someone's screen, as they see you, and then later on go to some posts and see what you're actually saying, where like your posts showing and speaking your brand values, and them also seeing that being aligned with your look. That is going to they're going to see a consistency, and they're going to see that trust. So, what is brand aligned though? Let's talk about that. So, brand aligned dressing and, your hair and your makeup as well is when what you wear is a reflection of who God made you to be. It's complementing the beauty he put in you. It also is an expression he called you to build, and a visual imitation to the woman he has already assigned to you. So that when she sees you, something in her spirit says, yes, that is the person that I have been looking for to help me with this problem. And that's what you want, right? That's what you want her to think in her head when she sees you. This is possible when your look is brand aligned. And when people see that consistency between what you say your brand is and what you say through your look, that aligns with what you are saying in your captions, in your words, in your mouth, with your mouth. Now, how this is done, it can be done in a few different ways. So our look is communicating, and part of the way that it is communicating is through something called color psychology. So basically, every color represents different words and makes people feel different things. If you think about the letter, or not the letter, the color red, for example, it may make you think danger, like a stop sign, right? And so you can use something such as color psychology to create brand alignment. So let's say you are a brand that is is important that your clients trust you. I think that's for every business, right? But like that's one of your core values. Well, if you were brand aligned, then you would be wearing blue often, because blue is known as a color that creates trust. It makes people feel like you are trustworthy. And so that's just an example of how you can it really speaks alignment when you have these values, when you have your personality, when you are, you know, when you are getting and speaking to that best clients in your videos and what you're wearing, and all of that is aligned with your look. That's creating trust. And so, color psychology is just one element that you can use to create that trust. I want to really talk about why and how it creates trust. Why that brand alignment. We went into it a little bit with color psychology about how it speaks it. But let's go a little bit deeper. So when your look is brand aligned, you are being intentional. You're not just throwing things together, right? And people can see that intentionality. And so when they see that you are being intentional with your look, it's signaling to them that, oh, she's invested. Like, she is caring about how she's presenting herself and how it's communicating. And I bet that she also does that, pays attention to detail, and takes her business and the people that she works with seriously. So when you are showing up brand aligned with that intentionality, you are speaking to the people that see you. Hey, I was intentional today and I am showing up as best as I can for you. I'm invested in really whatever this relationship becomes, whether I'm just pouring into you or if you become my client someday. So here's a little analogy to really help you understand this. Think about walking into two different restaurants, okay? So the first restaurant has it's not somewhere you want to be. It has sticky menus, has dim flickering lights, has a server in a wrinkled shirt, and mismatched silverware. Now, the food might be incredible, right? It could be. Probably don't think so, but it could be. But if you go in there, you're gonna hesitate about ordering, right? If you're like, nothing around me shows that they care about my experience, my health, like all of that. If it's like this out here, what in the world is it like in the kitchen, right? But imagine you go into a second restaurant and the linens on the table look so crisp and like put together. You're like, did they just like steam this tablecloth? Because it is like excellent looking. And your server comes who's well groomed and attentive. Menus, like you don't even see a fingerprint on them at all. Um, and so you order, and before you even take a bite, you're like, okay, this meal is gonna be amazing, right? You already trust that the meal will be good. Why? Because every visible detail told you it would be. And so when you are intentional, when you are showing up to be brand aligned and like, hey, I put thought into this, I put thought into what this is communicating to you, um, you are building trust. Just like when you go into a restaurant and all of the table and the waiter and the menu are all very clean and nice looking, you're going to think, hey, I probably am safe to eat here, right? So that's creating trust, is showing your person, I take the time, I'm invested about how I look. And you can trust that I'm going to be invested in our relationship and getting you the results. So, number two, for why does a brand aligned look create trust with your potential clients? Now, it's actually a shortcut for your brain, for the subconscious. So, subconscious brains are wired to use visual cues as trust signals. So, looking the part doesn't replace what's inside of you, right? That also matters, and they are going to look for that, but it opens the door faster so that they can engage you. Let's say you're on a reel and they're scrolling reels and your look is like the first thing that they're going to see if you're in the reel, right? And so getting them to like pause and stop at your reel is so important, right? So when your look is brand aligned and creating a look that creates trust, they're going to stop before they even before you say anything, before they know anything about you more. And our brains are looking for visual signals to be like, oh, I can trust her. So people trust with their eyes first, their ears seconds. So if you look like someone worth listening to, they'll actually take the time to stop scrolling and listen to you. Now, there was a study done by Princeton University, and it showed that people judged so there was a bunch of people, pictures of people, And they would tell people, like, yes, this person looks like they have competence, or not so much, like this person did more. And it showed that people judge competence in milliseconds. Like, so as they saw that picture and they decided if they were gonna, like, yes, that person is competent or not, that judgment was done in milliseconds. And it was not based on their face. It was based on what they wear. So when you are creating this brand online look, that is a look that creates trust, that your potential client is going to see as trustworthy, because it can be a little different in different areas, and incorporating color psychology, many other things. They're going to make a judgment about your look in milliseconds, and when it's brand aligned, they are much more likely to be like, oh, like get that signal in their subconscious to be like, oh, trust her. Let's stop. Let's look at the reel. Let's see what she has to say, right? And so that's another way how the brand align look is creating trust with your potential clients. Now, the third and last way is that shows off confidence. It helps you show that confidence. This whole idea of really um, like when we look in the mirror and we're brand aligned, meaning like, let's say the shirt that we wear, we feel like, oh, that's so me. And we see ourselves in the mirror, and it creates this confidence. It's something called, so also when we are brand aligned and we are wearing things and having this look like our future identity or the person that we are working on, when that is aligned, like that identity and how we look, something called the enclosed cognition effect comes into play that creates that like body language of like confidence. There's a story about someone that was in medical school, and how she describes her time of putting that doctor's white coat on for the very first time, and how it was like this magical time. And as she wore this doctor coat, even though she was just starting medical, she said, for the first time, I could like see myself as a doctor just by putting that coat on. And so she was experiencing clothed cognition, like just her wearing this helped her see herself as a future doctor. And it's just, like she said, she felt differently. And it also affected her body language. She was tall, looked taller, stood taller, and she was focused. And people will catch on to that. And so when you are brand aligned and dressed in a way that really aligns, like I said, with that woman that you are becoming, that you are working hard at becoming, maybe you're like, I'll be her in the next 6 months or the next year, but your look is communicating that to yourself. You are gonna put your head higher. You are gonna, walk with more intentionality, and people are going to pick up on that and be like, whoa, she's she's really confident. And, going back to the first example of, if you go to a surgeon and there's inconsistency, well, let's say you go to a surgeon, and you know, the first surgeon that you see for, let's say you broke your hand and you have to get surgery on your hand. Let's say they are looking at your scans for your hand, and you have to see two of them. And the first one's like, okay, yep, yep, yep. And the second one's like just his expression just is not comforting because it's not confidence. And um he isn't able to answer your questions very well. And so you have one that seems very confident and one that you're like, does he really know what's going on, what he's supposed to do? You're obviously going to go with the more confident one, right? And so having that brand aligned look that incorporates enclosed condition cognition to really as you look yourself in the mirror and be like, yes, I am her. I am becoming her. And you're seeing that through your look. And because of that, your body language is so much more confident. Your prospects, even on social media, are going to see that and they're going to want to work. They're going to want a confident woman, help them solve their problems, right? And so those are just a few ways of why you can really create trust through a brand aligned look. And so I would challenge you today, think about, are you dressing with intentionality to really create that trust? Because if not, you could be having people just scroll you by instead of stopping. So, a great takeaway that you can do today to start building trust um, by being brand aligned is feeling confident in what you are wearing. So, I want you to take out your 3 favorite business outfits and maybe just look at them, or maybe even put them on and look in the mirror and think to yourself, like, do I feel confident in this outfit? Or do I feel a little, am I worried about an area? Like, is this top too small? Is it too clingy? You really want to be wearing things that you are feeling confident in, that you are able to be focused in. And so think like that aspect. Also think about, okay, is this something that the woman that I am working towards, that next goal, that next level that I am working on becoming, is this something that she would wear? Do I feel like her when I am wearing these outfits? And if not, then it's time to be intentional and make some changes. If you have, one outfit that you are feeling really looks like her and that you do feel confident in, and the other two, like think about what are the difference? Are the colors different? Are the cuts different? Maybe one's flowy and the others are more tight, then maybe go with more flowy tops. Notice the difference and incorporate more of those things into your closet, whether it be yeah, the colors or the cuts. Maybe it's a whole different style, So doing this will really help build trust when people first see you. And I know, dear faith-filled female founder, that God has so many for you to impact. And you need them to be able to trust you at first glance and get to know you more so that you can impact them through your business by solving their problems and getting them amazing results. I would love to connect with you. So my website and my Instagram are below. Plus, I have a free gift. Check that out. It's really going to help you start creating a brand aligned look. So until next time, know that I'm just cheering you on in your style. God created you and this business to make a great impact. You can do that with your brand aligned look.